Well, the Buffalo Bills season came to an end as the Bengals took down the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals showed they are a really good football team and they took advantage of some of the weaknesses that the Bills had. I want to start this video by saying I love each and every member of the Buffalo Bills organization and their team. I love all these players. And I'm thankful that I got an opportunity to meet so many of them during the course of the season. With that said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The team always says each and every year we want to win a championship. Didn't get it done this year. Didn't get it done last year. Haven't ever gotten it done. So some changes have to happen, even though, again, I love all of the Bills coaches and players, because we can't be here next year and saying what Stefon Diggs said after the season. Why does this keep happening year after year after year? So let's look at the changes that might need to be made after this Bengals game. What did the Bengals show us that the team could improve on? First of all, let's start on the defensive side of the ball. I thought the defensive play calling was wanting. Having their defensive backs play a deeper zone coverage when the Bengals only need 4 or 5 yards for a first down, that's not going to cut it. We've got to worry about the sticks on offense and on defense and stopping first downs. Or the other team will go down the field and we can go down the field. So I do think, even though Leslie Frazier's been a great coach for the Buffalo Bills and he's been a great person for Sean McDermott to lean on, I do think it's time for a new defensive coordinator with the team, just to bring in fresh blood and try some different things on defense, some more things that can adapt to different situations and I'll not always be stuck in the nickel. Although I do love our nickel defense. Again, I love a lot of things about our team. But we can't just stay patent, or we're going to be at the same situation next year. That's insanity. Disappointing pass rush. I mean, obviously, we'd love to have Von Miller out there. When he was with the team, they did have a good pass rush before his injury. Boogie Basham, Epinesa, these guys just aren't getting it done. I do like the way that some of our defensive linemen grouped in his second season. Rousseau, I think he did much better this year. And Shaq Lawson, he had a really good season this year, played far above expectations when he was brought back to the team. But the pass rush just wasn't there. We've got to get better at it. Ed Oliver needs to take another step forward. I do think, as far as our defensive line, you could see the difference of not having Daquan Jones in the game, and that was more about stopping the run. But he eats up 2 offensive linemen. He might not put up the big stats, but he eats up 2 offensive linemen so that somebody else can put up those big stats. And he played each game this year, but couldn't play against the Bengals because of an injury, and you noticed it. I think the defensive backs got better as the season went along. Obviously, bringing back Trey White during the year was a big step for that, but it took him a few games, it looked like to me, to get back to Trey White, and he may not even be back to that yet. But I'm all right with the defensive back play. It'll be nice to get Micah Hyde back for next year. That'll obviously make a big step forward. I don't know how they're going to replace Jordan Poyer, because it appears that Jordan Poyer, just because of the business side of the sport, is no longer going to be in a Buffalo Bills uniform. He and his wife are both tweeting about that already. And we'll sorely miss Jordan Poyer if he can't come back with the team. Obviously, I think we'd all love to have Jordan Poyer back. All-Pro Poe has been a major part of our team over the last several years. So they're going to have to replace him. Matt Milano had a fantastic season at linebacker. Probably the defensive MVP of the team this year. Edmonds. We've got to find some way to sign Edmonds. When we got him as a rookie at a 19-year-old, he has blossomed into a fantastic linebacker. And we can't afford to lose Edmonds. It'll cost a lot of money probably to bring him back. And he deserves to make the money. He's a good player. But how do we bring him back? We're right up against the salary cap. We're actually probably above it. I know the salary cap might be adding some extra money next year, but we're already above it. So it's going to take, Brandon Beane's going to have to do some work to try to figure out just how to bring him back. On to the offense. I think the biggest weakness this game, at least, probably most of the season, on the offense was our offensive line. Starting with Roger Saffold. I think the biggest play of the game versus the Bengals was the third down play after the Bengals already scored on the opening touchdown. The Bills ended up going 3 and out, but if they would have hit that third down play, Diggs was open. He might have even gone for a touchdown, but Saffold got blown up, and the pass rush was on top of Josh when he threw the pass. That was only one of a few times where the offensive line just could not give Josh the protection he needed, and in particularly Roger Saffold. I really hate singling out any individual player because it's a team sport, but we're at that point. We've got a really good team, and we know that there's certain positions we've just got to grade out better at. I also think that Davis, I don't know. I mean, he works so much on his game. He's at the jug machine so much to try to learn to get that attention of catching the football, but he had another big drop in this game. He had several drops during the season. I do think Davis is a good wide receiver. I know Stephon Diggs is a great wide receiver. I feel good about Shakir and his upcoming. I hope they re-sign Beasley and don't have to deal with waiting for him to come halfway through the year again. But I do think they need to draft high a wide receiver in the upcoming draft, probably first-round pick, to get another weapon for Josh. The offense has just got to be able to keep up with the Bengals and the Chiefs now because those guys are putting up big points, and the offense has to be able to put up points to go against what they're doing. Back to the offense, I think they need to find somebody in free agency that can play guard. I hope they can. If not, that's a second-round pick. Special teams. Wow, that's something I'm happy with. Our special teams got way better during the course of the season. Tyler Bass, a few kickoffs out of bounds. Definitely have to work on that. But the addition of Nyheim Hines made a huge difference with the Buffalo Bills this year. Those kickoff returns, punt returns, he's just electric on the field. And so glad we've got him on the team. I think he's going to add a lot to next season. As far as the offensive coordinator coordinating all these things, Dorsey was his first season. You know, a lot of people are on him. A lot of people were on Brian Daboll the year before and the year before that when he was our coordinator. Now he's on for, just nominated for Coach of the Year in the NFL. And so was Sean McDermott, by the way. And Sean McDermott did a great job with this team with all of the things they had to go through during the course of the year. So first of all, back to Brian Dorsey. I think they're probably going to give him another year as offensive coordinator. Although, you know, I wouldn't be opposed if they bring in someone new just to give us fresh blood. We've got to work on a screen game and a shorter game to go with our medium and long range game. If he can do that, or bring in somebody to help him do that, or I don't know. Just that's something that's got to be worked on. But Coach McDermott deserves to be nominated, and he was, as Coach of the Year for all of the things the team went through in the offseason. The shooting at the start of the year really did have an effect on the team. The snowstorms obviously had an effect on the team. The Damar Hamlin situation had a huge effect on the team. Losing Micah Hyde here for the year had a massive effect on the team. He's a team leader. Losing this guy, Von Miller, for the year had a major effect on the defense. He's a team leader. Sean McDermott led us through that, and I think he did a fantastic job leading us through that. Now, he may not know how to call timeouts in the playoffs, and he got nervous, or he didn't trust his own process, but Sean McDermott is our head coach. I'll stand behind him, love him to death, and I'm glad and proud that he's our head coach. I look forward to seeing what he can put together for next year. Being with that, talking about all those things that Sean McDermott led us through, I think that's one of the big things that happened to the team is they just looked worn out. I know I felt a little worn out too. The team has gone through so many things. I just listed them all. I don't need to list them again. But especially losing a teammate, or like Damar Hamlin, having him have a heart attack on the field, or a heart condition on the field. I think the guys watching him receive CPR, I think it stuck with them, and it will affect them for a long time. They wanted him to play in 5 minutes. It was said at the game. I don't think they ever got back to being the same. It wasn't going to take 5 minutes. It took more than a few days, a few weeks. They're still not the same. Even though Damar's back at the stadium, the team is still feeling that. And you could see that they were a little worn out. And when the Bengals, to their credit, came out and put up 14 quick points on Buffalo's 2 3-and-outs, they took advantage of that, which good teams do. Good teams take advantage of whatever situation they can. And, you know, this is not an excuse or anything, but what a season. What a hard season. And it's going to be a long off season. It's going to be a long off season. But I think the players need it. The players need an off season now to try to get some time in, some relaxation, some time away from football to come back next year stronger. There won't be probably won't be a big splash in free agency because, as I said, we're past the cap, and but I do think they need to sign an offensive lineman, and when they do sign someone, they need to hit on it. They need to find someone that's going to be a quality player for our organization. And in the draft, I already said I think they need to draft a wide receiver first. And depending on who leaves the team and what else the situation, then they have to worry about whatever's left. Because, sure, we've got Josh Allen, we've got Stephon Diggs, but we need more weapons on offense to keep up with the other teams. Because the other teams have got more than that. And I know we're going to come back stronger. I know we're going to come back even better next year. I know we're going to come back because, number one, we got Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a quality quarterback. Just nominated for league MVP. And first and foremost is we got Josh Allen. We got a good team. But more importantly, I know that the Buffalo Bills organization, their coaches, their players, their training staff, and all of Buffalo Bills Mafia is going to come back bigger and stronger, if not for any other reason, but because God loves you, and so do